Welcome back to Recap and React with Candace, where I discuss some of my favorite TV shows and movies. My name is Candace, and today we will be discussing Survivor Season 47, Episode 2. So we left off in the last episode where John was voted out by the Yellow Tribe. And so we kind of get to catch up with the Red Tribe at this point. And so we know that Rome found the key to the box for the Beware advantage. And based off of what we saw with Gabe, we know that there are chances for different levels of idols in the box. So Rome finds the box overnight, but he rehides the box because he wants to go see what the box says and he can't see it in the dark. And he decides, okay, I need to bring somebody else in on this. And he decides to bring in Teeny on this. But at this point, everybody else in the tribe wants Rome out because he's being sketchy. They can tell that he's looking for something. And so Teeny's like, this is the worst thing, that Rome could be the one that finds the Beware advantage. So then the next morning, he's shown Teeny where the box is. And she says, but I'm going to tell Kashan. So she tells Kashan, and they go, and she goes to show Kashan where this Beware advantage is. And they actually are going in the box and like reading what's in the box when Rome hasn't even read what's in the box yet. And just Teeny's luck, Rome walks up just as she is showing Kashan his Beware advantage. And I was just cringing so bad. I felt so bad for Teeny, but she was just in broad daylight doing that. Like, I don't know what she was thinking. So then Rome is just thrown off. Rome doesn't feel like that he can trust Teeny anymore. Teeny tries to play it off as like, oh, I wanted this four to work together. And so that's why I showed him. But it's like, it wasn't yours to show. She thinks that maybe she got away with it, but Rome is like, it's clear to him that he can't trust her anymore at this point. And then so Rome ends up deciding to just take the one tribal idol, basically. So he knows for sure he will be safe in the first tribal that they go to. When they've been pretty dominant, so I wouldn't be surprised if they don't go to any tribals the whole season. So then sticking with the red tribe, kind of, because we kind of jumped around with the three different tribes. Rome just kind of starts to rub everybody the wrong way on his tribe. He keeps talking about himself a lot. Apparently he had aspirations of playing in the NBA, and he felt like he had the speed, but he just didn't have the height. So then she's like, well, why didn't you get drafted? And he's like, oh, I stopped playing in high school. And then he's saying he could have been a rapper if he wanted. And then he's got these Michael Jackson moves. And it's just like, you can tell that everyone is getting tired of him, but he's safe in the next tribal council. So even if they want to vote him out, they can't unless they can, I don't know, trick him into using his idol on somebody else, which would be stupid if it's a one tribal idol. So unless he's just dumb, he's going to stick around for a little while. The blue tribe, we get catch ups with them. So the guys still keep breaking off and have these private conversations, and the girls are just kind of like, it looks like a bromance situation going on. But Gabe is really not with the other two guys. Gabe is not with TK and Kyle, but for some reason, they are acting like they're together. Or TK thinks that Gabe is locked in with him. I don't really know why. TK and is getting a little sus though with Gabe because other people aren't really talking about the connections they have with him. But Gabe is just playing it a little smarter than TK right now because he definitely has a really strong alliance with Sue at this moment, and Sue has Caroline. So TK says instead he wants to try to bring Tiana in with him and Kyle. So they group together and they decide that they're going to have an alliance. And Tiana wants to be aligned with them because they are strong and that could be good, to win some immunity challenges. Tiana, TK, and Kyle are talking, and TK, I feel like he's just being way too vocal. Like, I get that he feels like he has these leader qualities, but he's being so vocal, and you don't want to be that vocal early on. Like, it comes off like he's playing too hard. And then he's pitching to Kyle about a four with Gabe, and then I think people mess up when they start making alliances without talking to the other person first, if that makes sense. So, like, as far as Gabe was concerned, TK Kyle and him were in an alliance, even though Gabe wasn't really in that alliance. But then when you walk in on a conversation with TK, Kyle, and Tiana, and all of a sudden, oh, this is a group of four. It's like, so were we ever, it just comes off disingenuous. Something just isn't adding up. You know what I mean? So I think that's where he really messes up too. It's like, you don't want to make alliances without discussing it with the person you were in the original alliance with. Because I even think he did that with Tiana. I don't think we saw him have a conversation with Kyle about bringing Tiana in instead of Gabe. And then next thing you know, he walks up to Kyle with Tiana and is like, "Oh, I was telling Tiana that I like you and I trust her and I like us to work together." And it's kind of like, well, did you discuss that with Kyle? Did you make sure Kyle, that was the move that Kyle wanted to make? So I just don't like him making decisions for other people's game. So then Gabe goes to Caroline and pitches an alliance with her and Sue. But Caroline doesn't seem to really trust Gabe. And Gabe's like, okay, I got to pull out all the stops. I'm going to show her my idol. He shows her his idol. And she's like, okay, maybe I can trust him a little bit. But you can tell Caroline's definitely more locked in with Sue than Gabe. But she'll kind of work with him at this point in the game. Gabe is coming off overconfident to me as well, kind of like TK, but just not as vocal about it. He's saying it more in his like confessionals than in people's faces. But he thinks that he is like he thinks that Caroline and Sue are at the bottom of the tribe, and he feels like he's just they're like his little baby birds that he's rescuing, and I don't think Caroline is gonna go down like that. So that was interesting to me that she thought like he was under that impression. So then Sue, we see her, it's her, TK, Kyle, and Tiana. They're trying to take a nap. They're supposed to be taking a nap on the beach. But TK and Kyle are still up while Sue and Tiana are trying to sleep. And TK just keeps talking and talking and talking and talking about himself. And I get he just has like an outgoing personality. And I really like TK. Y'all know in my last video, I said like TK was one of my favorites. But I don't know, he's kind of rubbing me the wrong way in this episode. And so you can just tell that Sue is not vibing with TK at all. Tiana doesn't seem like she's not really vibing with him, but she feels like he could be good for her game because he is strong. But yeah, you start to kind of see a little bit of foreshadowing for the end of the episode here. So then with the Yellow Tribe is really, really gassing Andy up at this point. So we saw last week he complained about them not cheering for him when he opened the coconut, but cheering for John. So this time they are really, really laying it on thick when he's opening up these coconuts, and I just thought that was really funny. We get Annika basically says that Andy is giving like toxic, clingy boyfriend from like some of the guys that she meets on dating apps and stuff, and I can definitely see where she's coming from. Like he needs these this constant reassurance and words of affirmation, and it's a lot, you know what I mean? And it's very clear that they're just doing it to appease him, but he was really like feeding into it. It was just I do feel bad that he like has the need for that like at that level, and he can't see that they're like kind of not like they're not being mean, but they're just like saying what they need to say so he doesn't like go off, you know, and go, have a little meltdown again. But yeah, I just hope Andy can kind of get a grip on his game a little bit. So the girls have Sam watching Andy to make sure he doesn't find any advantages while they kind of go and look for some stuff. But Sam ends up having to leave from sitting with Andy so that he can go to the bathroom. And at that point, Andy decides, okay, I'm going to go look for some advantages. And he actually does find the beware advantage, but he decides to rehide it. And he's like, I'll come back for it. Like if we're going to end up going to tribal or something, I'll know where it is. So then when Sam comes back and he notices that Andy had been gone, he goes to Annika. He's like, Andy was gone. I don't know if he's found anything. And Annika's like, well, why don't we just go? Let's go look. Let's go look together. And so Sam ends up finding the beware advantage where Andy put it back with Annika. And so Sam tells Sierra, because he's like, I don't want Annika to know anything that Sierra doesn't know, because Sierra's my number one. And then he's like, they're like, what if Annika is telling Rachel? And sure enough, Annika is telling Rachel. She's like, just pretend like you don't know. And so then Sam's like, okay, I need to tell Rachel too before like she lets me know that she knows, so that it doesn't look like I'm trying to hide anything. So he tells Rachel, and he has Rachel come help him, because the first thing that they have to do is untie all these knots to get this key that will open the box. So Rachel helps him do that. They get the key. And so then later on, Andy decides to go back for the beware advantage. And at that moment, he realizes that it's gone. So he does not know who found it, but he really trusts Sam at this point. And so he goes to Sam and he's like, I found the advantage. I put it back because I was gonna go back for it. And I went back for it and it's gone. And I think one of the girls got it. I'm sure one of the girls got it. And Sam is shocked because he has the key in his sock at this moment, but he just plays it off like, oh my gosh, they found it. You know what I mean? But at this point, now Andy, just by coming to Sam with this, has built some trust with Sam. So Sam is thinking like, I'm like Andy's one lifeline in this game. I think I can work with him. So then Sam goes with Sierra to go dig up the box for the immunity idol. And Sam ends up, deciding to only take the one tribal immunity idol, similar to what Rome did. And he's talking to Sierra, and he's saying he's thinking about at the next tribal playing his idol on Andy, because he's nervous about going to 4 with 3 girls and just him, and being the only guy. And he let Sierra know this. I think this was too soon to let her know this. Because she might get in her head about it. I don't know. Like, she seems like she trusts him, but the girls could easily get together. Like, they have the numbers, and like if they think he's gonna play his idol on if they think he's gonna play his idol on Andy, they could kind of split the vote and like put a couple of votes on him and one on Andy. So I don't know. I don't know if this is a good idea, honestly. So then we get to the immunity challenge. So the other tribes are shocked to see that Andy's still there. I would have been shocked too after his big meltdown, but he's still there. And then so the challenge is to basically they have to get this rice off of this tower that's in the water. And then they get the bag through this hole in the shore, and then they have to climb over the wall. And then get the bag on shore, and then maneuver through this blind maze to receive a key. They use the key to unlock the door. They cut open the bag of rice to get a ball, and they use that ball to navigate through this winding snake trap thing. And use 3 people to do that. So they're also playing for reward. They get fishing kits. First place gets the bigger fishing kit. Second place gets the smaller one, and then third place gets nothing, and they lose their flint as usual. So Asia, she's sitting out for red, and Sue is sitting out for blue. Red has the early lead again. Red has just been killing these challenges, honestly, and I'm just happy because I'm an Asia fan, so I want her to do well and her tribe to do well, so she doesn't have to go to tribal if she doesn't have to. Rachel gets her key first, so yellow gets the key first, and they are on to demolishing this rice bag, and Andy is really like stabbing this bag almost like a serial unaliver. I'm gonna be honest, like he's just like stabbing this bag, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, and even Jeff is like, watch your hands, watch your hands. Like Andy is just trying so hard. Like I know he just really wants to do well in the game, so I don't want to be too hard on him. So then you have Rome from red. He gets the key next. So Sam, Annika, and Sierra are on the maze trap for yellow. Rome, Saul, and Genevieve are on the trap for red. And then TK, Gabe, Kyle are on the trap for blue. So Rachel, in the midst of it. She's like, I just want to eat the rice. And then next thing you know, she's sneaking rice into her back pocket, um, which we'll get to that in a second. And so then Sam and TK, I feel like they both were not communicating very well with their teams. Um, but I liked how on Yellow, Sam, um, Annika was giving him some pushback. She wasn't just immediately just like letting him like dictate everything. She's like, no, I hear what you're saying, but I'm telling you, my rope, I can't pull it anymore. So I was just glad that like she didn't let him just like take over or like just like lash out at her. But TK really was not taking it well. So yellow ends up getting first, red second, and blue gets last. I don't even think blue was ever really close to finishing the maze trap thing anyway. So blue's going to tribal. So Jeff, before he dismisses the two winning tribes, he calls out Rachel for taking the rice and makes her empty her back pockets, which I felt like that should have been a fair game. Like she should have been able to keep her rice, but it is what it is. And then when the losing tribe, the blue tribe is just there. Jeff mentioned something about some people having smiles on their face or something, and then that just sets TK off on this rant. He goes on about not liking to be associated with losers and people shouldn't be smiling after we just lost, and um, basically it feels like a call out to Tiana. Later on, he says he didn't even know Tiana was the one smiling. He just heard Jeff say something about people on the blue tribe smiling after losing. Um, but yeah, it was just not the time for that. Um, we'll get to it in a little bit and on my full thoughts on TK in that situation because I kind of want to talk about the pre-tribal on Blue Camp now. So TK feels like that they have a tribe that should be winning every challenge. They are like if you just look at them physically, they are one of the stronger tribes. Um, but they just they're not doing great in the challenges, you know what I mean? I don't know if they even gotten first place in any of them because yellow's won two and I want to say red won the other one because yellow won the initial like starter little challenge and then red won the first immunity challenge and then yellow won this immunity challenge. So yeah, they're not winning the challenges, even though if you look at them, they look like the more like physically strong tribe. Um, it seems like Tiana want. Oh, TK also said he's saying that he's like a leader on the team and everybody should have the same mindset as him. I think the reason he talks like this is his sports background. Even though Tiana also has a sports background too, but she's just better with people because she's a flight attendant. But with TK, it's like this football like competitive mentality. Like that's how talking like that motivates them. But I don't think like that doesn't work for everybody, especially like with women. Because I even had to talk to my husband about this before, and I'm like, that type of motivation doesn't work for me. I get that that works for you, but and he never like said anything in disrespectful way, but it's just like with working out and different things, like the type of motivation that works for them as men, especially men that played football, it's not going to be the same type of motivation for the lady that's a pilot on the tribe. You know what I mean? Like everybody is going to be motivated differently and you can't just assume that what motivates you is going to motivate other people because you risk rubbing people the wrong way. So Tiana, she wants an apology. At least that's how it comes off, and that's what Kyle communicates to TK. I don't think we saw her say that, but I think an apology would have went a long way in this situation. Um, but TK thinks he doesn't owe her an apology. He doesn't think he did anything wrong. I just didn't like the way TK talked to her in this conversation because they do go ahead and talk, but he's just talking at her and not really giving her a chance to really fully respond, and I just didn't like it. It didn't give her a chance to like express how she made him feel in this. I mean, how he made her feel in this situation. Um, so Tiana is trying to separate emotions and gameplay. She's like, I do think because he is a strong, like physically strong, I do think that he could be good for my game. But I don't like the way that he talks to me. So she's just trying to decide like how she should go about this with the vote. Um, as far as we can tell, the three of them, Tiana, Kyle, and TK, they plan to vote Sue at Tribal tonight. Um, and TK thinks that he has Gabe in his back pocket, but little does he know he doesn't have Gabe in his back pocket. He's like, oh, Gabe will just vote however we want, but that's not where Gabe stands. So then Gabe, Sue, and Caroline, they start talking, or actually no, first TK goes, and TK and Kyle, they talk to Gabe about voting out Sue, and Gabe plays along like, yeah, I'm cool with that. When the audience, we know he's not. So then Gabe, Sue, and Caroline, they talk about bringing Tiana in as a fourth. So Gabe was considering playing his idol on Sue at Tribal tonight, but then he's like, now I think TK burned that bridge with Tiana. So let's see if we can get Tiana to come in as a fourth. And even if we tie, we'll just go to Rocks. Like he's like, I'm fine with going to Rocks. Um, I they all say they're fine with going to Rocks, but I don't think Caroline really is. She seemed a little more worried about going to Rocks, but Sue said like she would be fine going to Rocks. So then Sue talks to Tiana about taking out TK, and she seemed open to it. Tiana, in her confessional, she's more worried about blindsiding Kyle because she does feel like she built like a good relationship with Kyle too. And she's like, blindsiding TK, it's also blindsiding Kyle. And I don't know if I can fix that relationship after this move if I decide to go that route. So then we get to Tribal, and Sue says she saw a bromance brewing with the three guys, and Tiana kind of agrees that they kind of kept going off and having conversations and stuff. Um, it's clear that in this Tribal that Sue and TK, they just don't care for each other. I don't know if they just haven't talked a whole lot or what, but it's like very clear that they're not like each other's biggest fan for sure. And then TK goes on to like mansplain Survivor to Sue. And he just started like, I really liked him like in the preseason and seeing his interviews and his stories and what his story and what he's been through like in his life and his health and stuff. Um, but just like, he just started to rub me the wrong way this episode, and I really, really wanted to like him, but it's tough. Um, so then it comes out that everybody pretty much knows that Gabe was searching for something around the beach, some sort of advantage. They noticed he was acting weird and funny. So I don't know if TK had kind of just told Kyle and Tiana already, or like how that got around the tribe. But yeah, everybody knows that he's been looking for things. Um, so Tiana kind of expresses in a roundabout way that she's between, making a strategic decision versus a social decision. Like, do can I work with this person and trust them, or do I just not like how this person talks to me? So am I able to like keep them around? And I feel like at that point it hit TK, and I felt like he kind of saw the writing on the wall. Like he knew there was a good chance he would get voted out. And you could kind of see it on his face. So I was kind of surprised he didn't play a shot in the dark. But um, so all the votes are in. Gabe decides to play his idol for himself. I I feel like he just wanted to kind of offload the idol because like he had put too much suspicion on himself and he didn't want to make himself a bigger target. So he was like, let me just go ahead and get rid of the idol, and then just in case there's any funny business, I can play it and I know I'm good to go. So votes are in, and TK is voted out with a vote of 4-2. So TK and Kyle voted for Sue, and then everybody else voted for TK. Kyle is shocked, to say the least. I do feel bad that he was blindsided, but I don't think that I don't. They didn't really have to blindside them because I don't think they ever would have got the numbers. Um, but I think they maybe didn't want to risk them. Like I don't know. I was gonna say maybe Tiana could have talked to Kyle, but I guess maybe not. She didn't want to risk giving TK the opportunity to convince her not to vote him out, because I don't think TK is not the type to like. From what I'm seeing in the game, the little bit that he was there, he doesn't like he would be able to pivot and like after knowing that Tiana didn't trust him, like rein it back in and still be able to work with her. So I think she made the right decision in not telling Kyle and TK, but yeah, I just hope that she can mend that relationship with Kyle. So in the closing credits, we see that TK is saying that based on this vote, they clearly don't value winning and stuff. So he's still like, and I know it was like the moment was like right after he got voted out. So he has really strong emotions at that point. But I mean, I feel like he just showed why they voted him out. Unfortunately, you know. And so then we get the preview where we see Annika is confronting Sam and Sierra about if they're dating, and then Andy's kind of in the background. So there's trouble in paradise on Gata. So I wonder if Andy helped plant the seed or something. I don't know. And then we also see that Rome is just still annoying everybody on the red tribe, but he's safe at the next tribal, so they're just kind of stuck with him. So that's where we leave off. I'm excited for the next episode. Um, I don't know. My favorites are still Asia. I don't know, Teeny. I was real disappointed in how she got caught like that. So I still like Teeny, but I just needed to rein in her gameplay a little bit. Um, who else? Tiana. I really like Tiana. And I need to pick somebody from Yellow. I'm gonna stick with Rachel. I still like Rachel. I like her trying to get the rice or whatever. So those are my top three, or I guess four. But okay, Teeny's honorable mention, and then so my top from each tribe is Asia from Red, Rachel from Yellow, and Tiana from Blue. That's who I'm rooting for right now. Okay, and we'll see how it plays out. But thanks you guys for watching, and I will talk to you guys next time.